Okay, in this lecture, I'm going to go over the word worksheet for unit one, the second topic. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll go over this. Okay, so you should have already done the first part of it, and now coming down to the second part of it. Let's see here, we've got histograms and frequency polygons, and then yeah, so that's what we're basically doing right now. And so coming down here, you're going to want to read pages 22 through 28. So you come to Canvas. Let's see here. When you go to Canvas, you'll be able to get to the book, and then 22 through 26. You'll notice 22 starts with frequency, coming straight down here through 26. And yeah, so getting started, we've got some definitions right here. And this right here, this is how to determine bin width or frequency width. And so this 2 to the k is greater than n rule, and then also intervals, how to determine interval width. And I really should put on here number of bins. Okay, and then let's see here, bin width. Okay. And then coming right down here, we have how are we going to go ahead and do this? And so we need to do our ideal outdoor temperature for eating, and we're going to determine our ideal outdoor temperature for eating. And then you're also going to do the same thing for a hot drink. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one really quick. And so I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to put it into Excel. Why? Because I want to, and Excel is a lot easier to deal with this stuff. So I'm going to come right here, File, New. Okay. Now, it is true. You can go ahead and like make a really cool Control X, Control V, Control X, Control V, a pivot table, and make a frequency table and a pivot table. But we're going to start with this first. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to determine how many classes we should have. The way that we determine the number of classes that we should have is we find the number of observations, and we use this 2 to the k is greater than n rule. So the total number of observations, you can do a couple different things. I'm actually going to show you guys something that I don't think that you guys have seen yet. If you installed your data analysis tool pack, you can go to data. Let's see here, is this, yep, home first. I'm going to unmerge this. So I'm going to do data analysis, and I'm going to click on descriptive statistics, press OK, input range, and I'm just going to highlight the data that I want to analyze. And press OK. Oh, whoops, I forgot to put label in the first row because I put a label in the first row. And then I'm going to put output range right here. And then I'm going to do summary statistics, confidence, and that's it. So press OK, and it gives me the mean, it gives me the median, the standard error, the mode, so on and so forth, going all the way down. It also gives me the min and the max, which is what I want for just a minute. But then it also gives me the count. Okay, so the count allows me to use the 2 to the k is greater than n rule. So n equals 20. And so I'm going to do equals 2 raised to whatever's in this box right here. So let's see here, 1, obviously 2 raised to the first is only 2, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5. And so 5, 2 raised to the 5th is the first one. So saying, hey, how many classes should we have? We should have a total of 5 classes. So 5 classes. And so the very first question is, here, I'm gonna, oops. Okay, how many classes should we have? 5. What is the class interval? Great question. So in order to determine the class interval, we're going to do the max minus the min. Okay, so interval equals max minus min divided by the number of classes. Okay, so we're going to do max minus min. So equals 82 minus 15. Okay, so that gives us our range, which we actually already knew that, which is right here. And then we're going to do that equals 67 divided by 5. And that gives us 13.4. Now, I'll tell you straight up right now, I do not like 13.4. And so what I would suggest, you either do 15 or you do 10, but you do not do 13.4 because 13.4 is ugly. So I'm going to put 13.4, but I'm going to do 10 or 15. And really what it comes down to is what looks better. And so set the class limits. So let's go ahead and let's just try it with 15. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this, Control C, Control V, and we can do lower temperature. So the lower temperature, we need to start at least the minimum. So the minimum is 15. So let's just do 15. So 15, 30, and let's do 45 for all the minimums, and then 60. Then we'll do 75 and 90. And so now we've got, obviously, Control C. Okay, so 15 up to 30, 30 up to 45, 45 up to 60. And when we say up to 60, what we really mean is 59.99999. Okay, so, same thing all the way, we're not saying 60 inclusive. So if you have a 60, the 60 should go in here. Okay. And then yeah, going all the way down. So now we've got 90 up to 105. Okay, so the next thing that we should do is we'll sort these. Sort. Let's see here. Sort smallest to largest. So we've got 15. We've got a total of 1. Then 30 to 45, we've got 0. Then from 45 up to 60, we've got 2. 60 up to 65. Oh, see, I messed up there. See, it's only 1. And the reason why 45 up to 60, see, it's tricky. 45 up to 60, it only includes that one. 60 up to 75, so it doesn't include 75. It's these right here. So 6. Okay. And then 75 up to 90, which is everything else, is 12, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 12. And then we didn't even use the last one. And that still gives us a wonderful 5, but in pretty increments. Okay. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to do the relative frequency. Okay. The relative frequency is when we take the count of this individual 1 divided by the sum total of everything. So equals sum. Okay. Then we do equals 1 divided by 20. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a $sign right here so that way I can drag it down and the 18 never changes. Okay. So now I'm just going to drag it down. So now this is this divided by 20. Then this is this divided by 20. This is this divided by 20 and this divided by 20. So these are the relative frequencies. And then we're going to do cumulative frequency where we do equals 1, then equals sum of both of these. And now I'm going to do a $sign at the 11. So that way the 11 doesn't move and I can just drag it down. So now it's saying this right here is this plus this right here is these 3 together, this right here is these 4 together, and this is these 5 together. And then cumulative relative frequency, you do the same thing except it's equals, okay, and then same thing, equals sum of these 2 together. Okay, and then we're going to put the $sign. And something is wrong. Oh, I see what happened. There we go. So I accidentally highlighted both of them. So now we've got the cumulative frequency, so on and so forth. And so I can take all of this wonderful information, Control C, and I should be able to, I hope, Control V, nope, did not like me. Let's see if this works. There we go. Except it still didn't do what I wanted it to do. There we go. So we put in all that information right there. So we got the relative frequency, and then so we've got the class limits. We tallied the data. So we've got the counts. Another column that a lot of times you'll see is the midpoint. We're not doing that right now because with frequency polygons, you actually draw it to the midpoint, not to the yeah. So there's that, and then let's see here. I accidentally had the wrong one. Let's see here. Hold on. All right, so Word. The funny thing is I have 3 different Word worksheets for this. There we go. This is what I wanted. This is what yours looks like. So then you come right here, draw a histogram. For this histogram, what you should do is you should have the counts on the left-hand side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all the way up to 12. So what we're going to do is we're going to start down here with 0. And let's go in increments of 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. You can also do 14, 16, and 18. Okay. This is driving me nuts. There we go. And then down here for your classes, you're going to do a couple different things that you could do. You could do the midpoint, which the midpoint is 30 plus 15 divided by 2. So it's going to be 45, or 45 divided by 2. So let's do Excel. And then in order to find the midpoint, insert equals sum divided by 2. Okay, so 22.5, 37.5, 52.5, 37.5, 82.5. So you could do that, but for a histogram, you could also do, just put down here at the bottom, 0, 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, and 90. Okay. And so when you do this with the histogram, you just put the counts for each one that you have in there. So we're going to do insert picture or shape, sorry, and then let's do 0 to 30, and there's going to be a total of 1. Okay, we'll see, and then 30 to 45, or 15 to 30 rather. See, so I did this wrong. 15 to 30, 30 to 45, there's going to be 0, so it's going to just be like that. 45 to 60, there's going to be 1, and then 60 to 75, there's going to be 8. No, sorry, 6. I can't count. Okay, and then Control C, we're going to do 75 up to 90. Oh, I just realized I did more. 75 up to 90 is going to be 12. So that's roughly what it should look like. Boxes aren't perfect, but it gives you a really good visual of what it should look like. And then you're going to be doing the same thing down here. ideal temperature for a hot drink. And so you put the histogram in here, and you'll notice the numbers are definitely different, the way that they populate. And so then coming down here, you have the ability to draw a frequency polygon for both. And so you'll have to determine, is 15 still a good thing that you should use? Should you use a different one? If you were to use 15, for example, though, your frequency polygon would look like, instead of having these, oops, you wouldn't have 15, you would have 7.5, whoops, 15, 22.5, and then you would have 37.5, and then 52.5, and 67.5, and 82.5. And so the way that this works is you draw to the midpoints. You don't draw to the class limits, you draw to the midpoints. So let me just show you what that'll look like really quick. Okay, so first thing, we're going to do insert shape. We're going to do a line. So 22.5, there is only, so you start at 0, and then you start with 7.5, but is there anything at 7.5? No. And so we're going to go to just start at 22.5. So we'll go 0 up to 22.5, which is 1, and then we'll do a new one. So at 37.5, it's 0 again. And then at 52.5, it's 1. So we'll do another. 52.5 is 1. And then at 67.5, what do we got at 67.5? We have 6. So we try to line up the axis right there. So 6, I think I went a little too high. Okay, and then the last one, we have 12. So we're going to come right up here to 12. And we've got those all lined up. And so that right there is the frequency polygon, which I'm going to come in a little bit closer. This drives me nuts, but it is what it is. And it's not perfect. When you do it on a computer, it's a little bit, it should be easier, right? But it doesn't always line up exactly the way that you want it to, but it should go over and meet at the intersection there. And so when you go to the next one, you would put this over the top of what it is that you have right there. Then same thing for right here, you're doing something very similar, where you have the frequency, where you have the histograms. You make the histograms for freshmen. This is from the same data that you worked with above. So you make the frequency or the histograms for freshmen, sophomore, or freshmen and juniors, or just freshmen, sorry. And then down here, it says GPA, so seniors. And then in Excel, it says complete 1.2.1 display continuous. So make sure that the frequency of both of these. And just to show you guys something really quick, if you want to check your work, just go like this, Control C, go into Excel. Let's see here, File, New. And let's do insert. Now, this is wrong. The reason why this is wrong, you'll notice that these charts are looking at, it's just weird. That should say freshman, sophomore, junior, seniors down here. Instead, it has 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So what we need to do is click on this and do switch rows and columns. And now you can see 0 to 1, or what would be more appropriate is really 0.05, then 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. And so that's what it should look like. And so then you can see freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors compared to one another. And that's what yours should look like, except I only ask you to do 3. I don't ask you to do 4. And then when you get to Excel, which there's a different video that goes over this, but when you get to your Unit 1 workbook, you can do 1-2-1, which there's a video that goes over this. I think you should have already watched that. And then the 1.2.2 display continuous is the one that you're going to do, and there's a whole separate video just over that. So yeah, I'm going to change this. And there we go.